Dear student, today I would like to start the chapter life processes for class 10 students. Life processes, as the name indicates, life is very important and nutrition is very essential for the life. In previous class, I discussed nutrition. What is nutrition? What are the different types or modes of nutrition? Generally, there are two modes of nutrition. First one is called autotrophic and second one is called heterotrophic. Autotrophic is again of two types, photoautotrophic and chemoautotrophic. Already discussed in the previous class. Today, I would like to start the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic food of nutrition. Heterotrophic. Human is omnivorous and the mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means food is taken from the outside. They depend on external source for the food. So, human digestive system is very important because already told in the previous class, what is nutrition? Nutrition is a chain process during which ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion of food material takes place. So, ingestion, what type of food material is taken? Ingestion means intake of food material. And next, today I would like to focus only on the human digestive system. Human digestive system consists of different parts and different digestive glands. So I would like to start from the different digestive parts. Number one, mouth. Next, also pharynx. Esophagus. So second is called pharynx. Third, esophagus. Next, stomach. Small intestine. Small intestine is the fifth part. Cecum, colon, and rectum, last is the anus. Mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, and cecum and colon together constitutes large intestine. So it would be better to write the large intestine. They are the parts of large intestine. 6, 7, and 8. So they are major parts. Number one, mouth. Mouth is guarded by leaf. Actually, digestion starts from the buccal cavity. And mouth opens into a cavity known as buccal cavity. And buccal cavity contains tongue, teeth. Teeth are very important. Teeth. And you know, teeth are characterized by heterodont, thecodont, heterodont, thecodont, and don't. So teeth are characterized by these features. Heterodont. What is heterodont? Heterodont means there are different types of teeth, like incisor, canine, premolar and molar. And thecodont, the second is the thecodont. They are embedded inside the jaw. Diphyodont means two sets of teeth. First one is called temporary or deciduous teeth. There are 10 pairs, or the formula of teeth is 2, 1, 0, 2. 2, 1, 0, 2 into 2. It is the formula of Mills set. It means 2 plus 1 plus 2, 5 into 2. 5 to the 10. So upper jaw contains 10 teeth, and lower jaw 2 plus 1 plus 2, 5. 5 multiplied by 2, that is 10. 10 teeth in the upper jaw and 10 in lower jaw. So they are Mills set and they are deciduous. And permanent set is called 2, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3 into 2. It means incisor 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8. Next canine 1, 1, 2 into 2, 4. And premolar 2 to 4 to the 8. 3, 3, 6 into 2, 12. So altogether 32 teeth are found in permanent. But 20 teeth are deciduous. So some are diphyodont and some are monophyodont also. And tongue contains different types of buds for the responsible of different types of taste. And actual buccal cavity opens in a common passage called pharynx. Pharynx is also very important, and pharynx is a common pathway. It opens into food pipe and windpipe. Food pipe is called oesophagus. Oesophagus is about 25 centimeter long, tubular structure. Oesophagus opens into a sac-like structure called stomach. And stomach is a sac-like structure and consists of 3 parts: cardiac, fundus and pyloric stomach. And stomach opens into a tube-like structure further called small intestine. It is the longest part of the alimentary canal, small intestine. Small intestine is a very coiled structure and consists of 3 main parts. First is called duodenum, jejunum and ileum. DJI. D for duodenum, J for jejunum, I for ileum. So duodenum is a shortest part of the small intestine, which is like C-shaped. And jejunum is the longest part and highly coiled. Ileum is also a part of small intestine. Next is the large intestine. Large intestine, they are more broader than that of small intestine. Large intestine also consists of 3 parts: cecum, colon, rectum. Cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum, colon and rectum. Small intestine ends with a blunt-like structure called appendix, and also called vermiform appendix. This is a vestigial organ. It is not in functional state nowadays. Cecum is a sac-like structure. The small intestine opens into a sac-like structure called cecum. and later on colon. Colon consists of also three parts: ascending colon, above, next transverse colon, TR for transverse colon. D colon means descending colons. So large intestine is the part of alimentary canal, which is made up of cecum, colon and rectum. And third one and last one is called anus. Anus opens into a aperture to the outside called anal aperture. Anal aperture is guarded by a sphincter called internal sphincter and external sphincter. What is the difference between internal anal sphincter and external anal sphincter? So internal anal sphincter is made up of tissue which is of involuntary type, but external anal sphincter is made up of a tissue called voluntary type. Sphincter means guarded structure. These are important or various parts of the alimentary canal: mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and last anus. Next part is what are the glands associated with this alimentary canal. The name of the glands, first of all, salivary gland. Salivary gland is very important. Salivary gland, and salivary gland is the largest gland, not of all, but salivary gland is a exocrine gland. Why called exocrine gland? Because salivary gland opens through a duct, or its secretion comes into the blood through a duct. So that is why salivary gland is known as exocrine gland. Salivary gland consists of three parts: parotid, sublingual, submandibular. What is another name or alternative name of submandibular? Submaxillary also. Salivary gland produces saliva and various types of enzymes like ptyalin. Ptyalin is also called salivary amylase. Why called salivary amylase? Because amylase is of two types. So that is why amylase produced by salivary gland. So the prefix salivary is added. Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is type of enzyme produced by salivary gland and lysozyme, etc. Saliva contains a very important antibody. What type of antibody? IgA. Next, liver. Liver is the largest gland of the human body. Liver is the largest gland of the human body. Liver consists of right lobe and left lobe. Sometimes question is asked, where gallbladder is situated? Right lobe or left lobe? So you should focus on this diagram. Gallbladder is situated in the right lobe of the liver. So liver is also called hepatic, and duct arises from liver is called hepatic duct. So liver is also a type of exocrine gland, and liver produces bile juice. Bile juice. Bile juice is stored in gallbladder. Bile juice has no enzyme. And hepatic duct and pancreas. Next gland is the pancreas. Pancreas also an exocrine gland as well as endocrine gland. The duct arises from pancreas and hepatic duct unites, known as hepatopancreatic duct. One question is very important. They are guarded by a valve called sphincter of Oddi. Not mentioned in your book, mentioned in class 11. So sphincter of Oddi is very important because hepatopancreatic duct is guarded by a valve, hepatopancreatic duct, and it opens in duodenum. So what is pancreas? Pancreas is a compound or mixed gland. Why called compound? Because it is exocrine as well as endocrine part of the human body. So exocrine part means pancreatic juice is produced by exocrine part, and endocrine part contains different types of cells known as alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells. Alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells were discovered by a scientist called Langerhans, and they are situated in the center of the pancreas. If you look at the section of pancreas, you can see. So that is why they are called islet of Langerhans. Islet of Langerhans is an endocrine part of pancreas. But hepatopancreatic duct, exocrine part and endocrine part, both. The islet of Langerhans consists of different types of cells. Two are very important, alpha cells and beta cells, and delta cells also. Alpha cells produces a hormone called glucagon. Alpha cells produces a hormone called glucagon. And beta cells produces insulin. And delta cells produces somatostatin. So in this way, there are various functions of these hormones and enzymes. Next, I would like to focus on the transverse section of human gut. Human gut means start from the mouth to anus. So they are called gut. So this is a figure of human gut. Human gut is made up of different layers. First one is called serosa. Second is called muscularis. Muscularis layer. Muscularis layer contains two different types of tissue or cells. Outer layer and next layer. So outer layer contains longitudinal cell and next layer is called circular. But in diagram, you can observe very well, circular is represented by a line or dot short segment, but longitudinal. But circular is represented by circular. And next layer, third is submucosa. And innermost layer is called mucosa. And they are represented by villi. And the central cavity is called lumen. Lumen is the hollow cavity. So these are important or different parts of the alimentary canal. Now, third segment, I will proceed in the third segment called physiology of digestion. Physiology of digestion. Physiology of digestion is a very complex process. It is not a simple process. Physiology of digestion is a complex process because complex food, organic food like carbohydrates, proteins, fat, they are broken down into simpler compounds. Like glucose, amino acid, fat is broken down into fatty acid and glycerol. They are broken down by various types of enzymes. Glucose is the simpler form of simplest form of the carbohydrate. Amino acid is the building block. This is the simplest form of protein. Fatty acid and glycerol, and they are absorbed by blood vessels, and they are absorbed by fatty vessels or lymph vessels. lymph vessels and blood vessels. So after absorption, food material is assimilated. So what is assimilation? Assimilation is very important step. So digestion cannot complete without assimilation. Digestion, assimilation, absorb food materials are finally sent to tissue level, and where they produce energy for their various activities. So assimilation is very important step of the digestion. And last is the egestion. Egestion means waste products are released to the outside from the alimentary canal through anal pore or anal aperture. So most important question is in the alimentary canal or digestive system is that maximum digestion takes place in the small intestine, and no digestion of carbohydrate in stomach, and finally waste products or undigested food materials are released to the outside by an anal aperture.